Well, we have seen some nice improvement in earnings this week and also, of course, the market, really led by some of the tech stocks. And there was a lot of concern that they would be worse than feared. But the opposite has actually been true. And it's really helped the overall market as well as the overall sentiment. So I wanted to bring in somebody who I have talked about tech with for many, many years now. And that is Kim Forrest. She is the founder and CIO of Bokeh Capital. Kim, welcome. Thanks so much for being with us. We're going to talk about tech, but we're also going to talk about the broader market. But thanks for being here.
Right. Thank you for having me.
Kim, why don't we first start with the results that we've seen this week? I mean, it was the mega cap tech companies that has been in focus: Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, and Meta or Facebook, just to name a few, and very different results. So how are you looking at some of the results? We do have to go through them one by one.
Sure. Overall, I think that tech and in general earnings have surprised to the upside against some pretty heavy headwinds. The first is we've had slow, if not negative growth here in the US, and that was confirmed yesterday with the GDP numbers, but also the really rising dollar and the level of the dollar caused Microsoft to pre-announce back in June. So that kind of cast a pall over all of the tech stocks as people wondered, would not only American and Canadians buy technology, but how about the rest of the world because it's all priced in the dollar? And the answer has been, yeah, they did.
Hmm. And so when we look at the results, let's take Apple as an example. It just reported yesterday, and the numbers, the top line looked better than expected, but it seems as though that's driven by fewer supply constraints than expected by the company. Services were a little bit weaker versus expectations, but it seems as though the consumer demand for the iPhone is still very, very much intact. And if anything, this past quarter is somewhat of a nothing quarter, and we can almost look forward to a big ramp up back half of the year.
Right. And, they're a special case where we would like to think of them as everybody has an Apple, but guess what? The most affluent people in the world seem to gravitate towards Apple. And I think that's really demonstrated in these really great earnings for the company and mostly in shipments because people around the world wanted to buy Apple products. They could get them and they got them. But I don't think that really captures the entire market for smartphones. And I think some of the Android companies are probably going to disappoint as consumers who are more affected by gas and food prices, like just don't buy them in this quarter.
And so when we look at Apple, where do you stand in terms of owning the stock right now? Do you think that this is one that you can own for the next 5 to 10 years? I mean, that's a long time when it comes to tech, but at least the next 3 to 5 years. What's the story?
So the story is twofold. First of all, there is really an ecosystem. Once you buy into Apple, it seems as if you get further and further into Apple world, and Apple world is happy to take your money, right? So that's theme one, that it's really hard to leave that ecosystem. But the other thing is, I think there's areas around the world that are probably going to get wealthier in the next 10 to 15 years. And certainly the next 3 to 5 years is a runway for Apple. And those areas of the world, which have minuscule amounts of Apple customers right now, are probably going to grow. And I've been long kind of negative on Apple up until maybe 2019. And here's why. I thought that some other phone company, because it's essentially phones, right? Some other phone company was going to come along and take their lunch. But it looks like Apple has this ability to understand what customers want for their next phone, and they're able to deliver it. I am watching for that next company that can do that, but so far, nobody's been able to do it better than Apple.